Welcome back to Jason Unleashed. You guys, again, I'm your host, Jason Carter. Thank you for watching. Claudia Jordan's on the show today. We've loved her on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. We've loved her on Celebrity Apprentice. We've loved her on the Next 15. And now she's hosting her own show on Fox Soul. And we've been going back and forth. There's been a little bit of technical difficulties, but she's going to be chiming in just a few. I know you guys are excited. I'm excited to talk to her. I've been a fan of hers for a while. Hey, Tony in the streets, thanks for chiming in. Zane Pope, good to see you. Again, if you have any questions for Claudia, leave them down in the comments. I'll try to get them as soon as I can. But yeah, let's get her in. Just going just a few. Claudia!
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I am good. I'm sorry I didn't put any lashes on.
It's okay. Hey, happy belated birthday. I saw your virtual celebration.
Yes, I'm 47 years old now.
Italian and black don't crack.
Thank you very much. How y'all doing? How's everybody doing today?
We're doing really good. Good to see you. I mean, the fans love you. The minute I posted that you were coming on the show, just comment after comment about
really
watching you. Yes, absolutely.
That's so nice. Thank you.
How are you holding up? I know. Look, the comments are going. How are you doing in this new normal? How's life?
I'm good. I am just bored, but it's hard to like say that out loud because, you know, while I can say I'm bored, there's people out here that are really suffering. So I don't want to appear insensitive to people that are really struggling to find, you know, to be able to make ends meet. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of torn between saying that out, like to really, you know, it's I'll be okay. But I'm really moved by reading people's stories online that are really going through it. I'm very sensitive. I know people think I can read a bitch, and I can, but that's not like the entirety of who I am. Like I really care about strangers. Like my boyfriend's always telling me to chill out. I'm always trying to feed everybody and give everybody money, and I cannot pass a homeless person that's in need, you know? So yeah. I've been reading stories online about people, you know, that are really struggling for groceries, and I just been cash apping strangers. I'm sure I got scammed a few times, but I'd rather know that I helped out some people that did need it. And a few scammers got through, then so be it. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, your intention was good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. I love it. Well, we're glad to see you again. You know, a lot of celebrities and a lot of people in general are echoing your sentiment of they're trying to stay busy. They're trying to, you know, take their mind off of what's going on in the world. And this is silent killer that we don't know much about, that we can't see. Testing's not really coming to the forefront quick enough. So I'm glad that you brought up that you're not bored is the word, but I mean, hey, we're all human. We're all trying to survive this, and you're doing just that. Let's get to it. You are Claudia Jordan. I have been watching you for years. From Rhode Island, you are a pageant girl.
Hard to believe with this mouth, but yes.
Miss USA top 10 Miss USA 1997.
Yeah.
And then you segued into music videos, acting, radio. People came to love you in season 7 of The Real Housewives, but you've been a veteran before that.
Yeah. So it's frustrating sometimes. People think that like I just showed up like on reality TV. I'm like, I had 20 years before that, but I get the frustration. I mean, it's frustrating, but at the same time, I really can't be mad. If they didn't know what I was doing before, that's probably on me. I probably should have had more PR. But yeah, I've been around for a while, and I was having this conversation with someone recently about like not being a bigger name and the thing that some people do when they sacrifice their souls to kind of get ahead. And there's a lot of that still happens. So kind of being okay with where I'm at, knowing that there's no asterisk by my name. I never took any shortcuts to kind of get there. You know what I mean? Like it all came from hard work and no favors. You know what I mean? So I am proud of what I've done. Although I'd love to be bigger and do more, but I also don't have to feel like, oh, I hope that secret never gets out, because there are none. You know what I mean?
Well, you've always kept it very real. And, you know, going back to the beginning, you were a Barker Beauty on The Price is Right, Deal or No Deal. You've evolved. You have so many nuanced layers to who you are in your career and coming up in the game. Let's talk about you being biracial.
Okay.
Black female in the industry back then. What was that experience like for you? Because that conversation is huge now. Diversity is huge now. More and more people are speaking out. I mean, you have a platform, Out Loud with Claudia Jordan, which we're going to get to as well. But back then, overcoming a lot of the obstacles that I'm sure you experienced, how did you temper that? How did you balance that? And how did you rise above?
Although my parents were divorced when I was 10, my mom raised me, so she's the white side. But I never grew up thinking like, oh, I'm not black or I have issues. I wasn't on my Stacey Dash shit. Like I was never like that. I've always been like really pro-black, and I think a lot of kids that are of mixed heritage sometimes we kind of almost not are forced to, but we almost have to like prove our blackness a little bit more sometimes because we're constantly questioned. Like you're not black enough, your experience isn't the same as mine.
Right.
Now, I definitely will acknowledge that there is definitely a bias in favor of light-skinned black people in America, and it's fucked up. It's not right. But I fight for those that are going through it worse than myself. You know what I mean? Like just because I can benefit from it doesn't mean that I I don't like that. Like when I hear black people speaking about how I don't like anything darker than a paper bag, I speak on that. Like I defend my darker skinned brothers and sisters because I feel like in this country it's so like in this world. Let me not say the country. This world is fucked up towards darker skinned people. India, some places in Africa, and some countries in Africa, in America, But I feel like I decided early on that there was no me saying that I'm denying my blackness or trying to pass, and I was never really for that. I'm actually more of an activist. Like I'm always like my friends like you're so pro black. I'm like I know, I'm dark skinned inside. Like I would say that to people.
Well, I mean, you to be honest, you moved through the world as a black female. When people like, we're not monolithic nor are we homogenous. We all have different things. Like I'm biracial, so my dad's Honduran.
Oh, okay.
And so, but to the human eye and people who are not POC, they see a black person, right? Mm-hmm. But also, I'm glad that you bring up not policing someone's experience, one black person to a next, because I myself have been daggered with you're not black enough, you're a Carlton, you're whitewashed, you're a house this, you know what I mean? So it's like black people sometimes want to police your blackness because that's been ingrained in us through years and years and years of just, I would say, communal racism, that for us to do that, and we don't even know we're doing it sometimes. So I'm glad that you were aware at a young age, being black and Italian, which is such a cool mix, and that you were able to do that. But going back to who you are, you keep it real. From watching you on The Next 15, everything before The Next 15 on the Housewives, you're not afraid to have a sharp tongue and let people know what's up. Where does that come from?
My family, my grandmother on my black side was very opinionated. She just passed a couple of years ago, but I was very, very close to her. I had her on the Housewives with me. She always just told it like it was, and I love that about her. Like some people that were bougie in my family may look down on that about my grandma, like, oh, she's just so like not ratchet, but she has a filthy mouth, but what she said was always honest, and I love that about her, and I love people that are like that. But you always have to, when you're like that, you have to be prepared to stand on your own, because a lot of people like things that are all buttoned up in a nice package that look right or that are proper. And a lot of times people are living a lie when they're moving like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like basically when I was in pageants, we had to kind of be like that, like, oh, like a Stepford wife, right? But inside I'm like really like, man, fuck this. You know what I mean? Like I want to say this, I want to say that. And I love that about my grandmother. Like I really, really admire that about her, that I feel like she had freedom. She never was biting her tongue, and people that like bite their tongue constantly and always have to like sugarcoat things, they're not being authentic. They're not just telling it like it is, and that's got to be a shitty way to live. And I love being like this, but it does come at a cost. I look at comments all the time. There's people who love that about me and hate that about me, and I got to be okay with that. And I am fine. Finally, I'm okay with like whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is, and I agree with a lot what you're saying, because I think they say when you've made enemies, you stood for something, right? And you're not coming from a place that's malicious. You went on Brandy Glanville's show last year, Unfiltered, and you had said something that was, I think, resonates with a lot of people. That's just that don't be fake. If you don't like that person, you don't like that person. It's okay to not like somebody.
It's okay.
And I think some of the most compelling people are the ones that are able to say that, because it's very exhausting. Working in media, especially being talent, you kind of have to please people. You want to get the gig, you have to play the game. And sometimes playing the game comes at a compromise of your artistic integrity, your own personal integrity, and other things, as we've seen with Time's Up, Me Too, and things of that nature. So for you to arrive at that, that's got to feel good. And going back to reality TV, you are a reality TV darling. A darling. The Next 15, that was when I knew you were a real one, because in moments with Tiffany Pollard, I don't know how you're able to exist in the same space with Tiffany. She's a lot. But breaking those walls of reality TV, looking at people and be like, she's crazy, right? You guys are all seeing this, showing your authentic self. When were you able to be comfortable with that? Because people who go on reality TV end up coming out on the other side, screwed up, on drugs, messed up therapy. How were you able to get out of that alive?
Honestly, to keep it real with y'all, I wasn't gonna show up to the reunion, and I stayed in my bed for a couple of hours into them getting ready because I was like, man, fuck this, because I didn't like how it turned out. And honestly, Tiffany wasn't a problem for me because when she first started doing her thing, I didn't get at first that she was doing her thing, but then she winked at me, and I was like, oh, that's why I was always laughing. It never really got to me. There was other people on the show that really were doing some mean-spirited things that I was like, damn, like, this is just a reality show, and y'all are not getting paid that much. None of us were getting like rich off that show. So to see how low some people got on that show, I was like, God damn, like it made me want to be done with reality TV. You know, like I thought this was gonna make me feel better than Housewives, and it wasn't the fault. You know, like I don't blame Carlos King for it because he constantly gave me opportunities. But some of the people that were casting that show, they're just miserable human beings that will never be happy, and they never are on any of the shows they're on. And I think you can see. You know who I'm talking about. But I was just like, damn, even when I'm trying to like extend an olive branch, there's people that are just doing things for a scene and people that are doing things for real life. I'm like, okay, cameras are honest, but in real life, I want to squash this with you. And if you're on the other side, like, yeah, she wants to squash it, but I want to trend, or I want to be popping on Instagram or Twitter that day, then they're not going to really receive, you know what I mean, like an olive branch. And I'm just not here for the bullshit because that show, I was very, very close to want to like really lay hands, and I didn't. I had a moment where I was like, I saw it, and I'm like, you know what? I might have a lot of stuff after this, and I don't want to like, it was so hard though, because the girl in me that was like, this is some bullshit. But I'm glad I didn't because like it's been nothing but just success since then. Like things have been good, and you know it's been okay for me. But Tiffany was she winked at me. Like in real life, she liked me, and we liked each other.
Well, in comparison to Housewives, I mean, you were on the Mercedes of reality TV shows, one of the most successful franchises ever, season 7 of The Real Housewives at Atlanta. And by the way, I was deeply offended when they brought you back in Kenya's party for season 8 and called you a friend. It's like, she's a friend of Kenya. She held a peach last season. What? Shade.
They wanted me to come back as a housewife, but then, I don't know if you remember, but there was all this media attention around the housewives need to start really showing who they're really with. And that was aimed at the single girls on the show. And so people were scrambling to get their, you know, situations together for the next season. I was dating someone at the time, but it was very early in the relationship. He spoke to producers. Producers were like super excited about him being on the show because he was an NBA player, which I will never say who it was. But
I don't get an exclusive, Claudia?
I can't. He's a fuck boy. Like I'm so disgusted.
Okay.
Well, you know what? He's not. He misled.
But it's in the past.
It's in the past, and I don't want to like be negative. So, he spoke to producers. Producers were super excited, and then we talked about it, and we were like, it's probably not a good idea. We're new in our relationship, and he was like, this is not gonna be good for me and my brand. I go, you know what? You're right. And I said, I'd rather have you in real life. Well, come to find out, he was kind of double life juggling, I guess you'd say. And if I would have had him on the show, I would have been humiliated for the world to see. So it worked out. So when I didn't have the guy to come on with me, the next best thing was, well, they kept saying, we can't imagine you not coming back to the show. And I said, well, I can't imagine coming back as just a friend of the show because I feel like I earned my peach.
And you did.
So when they did send me an offer, like I got an offer letter to join the season 8 as a friend of the show. I thought about it for a little bit and then I didn't because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave Atlanta, go back to LA and pursue the talk show space. And that's what I did. Did I regret it? Sometimes. Sometimes I regretted it. And then I showed up to filming of Kenya's event and she wanted me to host it. And I was like, you know what? I just want to play the back and just like not even be mics. So that's why they did the friend of the show thing. And I felt it really, when I was there, it felt weird. I felt like, you know what? My spirit's telling me I should leave. So I left.
Yeah. Well, it felt weird for the viewers too, because as I said, like, especially someone who's watched every season of you grasp the gravity of holding a peach one season. And then the next season, it would seem like it was an indirect jab at you, maybe. But you smart businesswoman that you are, you thought of long term. And there's a silver lining because you said you wanted to get back to LA and get back into hosting. Which, by the way, I don't know if you know, but you hosted at Reels channel 1 year on the Real Show, and I came in a couple weeks after you, and I was like,
you
oh my
did?
God, Claudia
Oh,
Jordan. Yeah.
that was a good production too.
It was. But you went back to hosting in 2017 with the Raw Word.
Mm-hmm.
Great show, 2 seasons of that. Let's talk about that because that was you being thrust in with two male co-hosts and you being the only female, giving your opinion and just being in that space. Did you feel like you were on your way to becoming Claudia Jordan, the next Oprah Winfrey?
Well, I went back to LA and did the next 15, and then I'm like, okay, now what? And then the opportunity came out of nowhere. They just reached out to me, and my biggest gigs have been where I didn't even try to get them, where someone just thought of me and said, hey, we got this for you. Like the Love and Hip Hop hosting gig that I just got, I didn't even know I was in the running, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But like they just landed in my lap, so the producer Andre Jitmore reached out to me and asked me to do this, and I went and did a pilot, and I was like, oh my God, I'm with Michael Eric Dyson, who's such an esteemed scholar and public speaker and just so deep and just connected. And then when he gave me a compliment, when we ended up going to series, we only did 20 episodes. He said, I don't care what anyone says. He sees the negative stuff people say online. He's like, you earned your spot here. You are a bright one. Like, he gave me such good compliments. And actually, they reached out to me today to do we're gonna do a live show, me, Michael Eric Dyson, a Raw Word one-time thing next week. So we're gonna see what happens with that. So who knows? I love talking about politics and social issues. I love things with depth. You know what I mean? So I was gonna last very long on reality because I want to do more. I care about society and like things that are to me a little bit bigger than fussing about this bitch didn't invite me to a party or you shaded me. I don't really give a fuck about it. Excuse my language.
No, it's fine. Yes, yes.
Sometimes I'm like, this is cute for a check and a show, but big picture wise, there's so many bigger things that we could be doing right now than having drinks and being shady to other Black women. I really don't like that. Like, right. If anyone knows me, knows I'm so like for my people. Yes, I can read, I can cuss somebody out, but do I feel good about it all the time? No. But if I have to defend myself, then you will get this work.
Well, it's, there's a time and place for everything. You mentioned depth, Claudia, and that leads me to Fox Soul, Outlaw with Claudia Jordan. We've seen layers, as I said earlier. We've seen layers of you, and it's like this. You've evolved in front of our eyes. Now you've landed at Fox Soul, which is this new experience. The app's amazing. A great team there. Afrocentric. Like, whoa. And you have this show that is bringing everyday people from all walks of life, LGBTQ plus, the average working woman, all shapes and sizes, intermingling with celebrities, talking about things that have meaning and have depth. I watched one episode, Claudia, with you where you talked to a woman who had been a victim of sexual assault. Mm-hmm. And it was the first episode I had seen of Out Loud. And the way you handled that conversation was so compelling because your connection to what she was saying and then allowing her to have that safe space and talking to the audience and just really letting the people know that, hey, if you have been a victim of this, it's not your fault. Just in you saying those words, and I myself am not a victim of sexual assault, but I stand with people who are. Mm-hmm. It was so compelling. And to see someone who had come from reality TV and have this show, and then I've been watching since, it's like, so let's talk about that because it's a whole new platform. It's the future of how we're consuming that type of data, but it's Black centric, and you're at the helm.
Well, that's another gig that fell into my lap. I'm here in Dallas. I got a morning radio show, and it didn't work out. After about a year and change, they decided to they want to get rid of my show. And so the day I was let go on a Monday, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that was along with that I don't know how much I can say because they actually just settled with me. That means right. Okay. I got on a plane that day, went to LA, filled in for Mike Hill, Cynthia Bailey's fiance, who's a good friend of mine. He was going to be out of town, so he said, can you fill in for me on Fox Soul? I'm like, oh my God, I've been watching and wanting to know how I could do something like that. One day turned into my deal. Like, they kept saying, come back, come back, come back. And I was unemployed for 23 hours. That's it.
The universe.
And it's also the kind of job that there is freedom. It's uncensored. It's very, it's not shucking and jiving. It's not making us look bad. It's not, I don't have to clown other fellow Black women or men. And we can be proud about who we are and show the different layers. So it's like, it's right up my alley. Like, I'm like, oh, this is what I want to do, and I love it. And as far as the episode with the woman you're talking about, I think a good host should be okay with sharing things about themselves, but still not making the conversation all about them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to say, you know what, I can relate because I've been through it, but it shouldn't be me, and back to me. You have a guest there that's pouring their heart out, and you got to be able to be empathetic, empathetic? Am I saying it right? Empathetic.
Yeah.
An empath to people. Sorry. Um, and care. And if you don't care about people and you only want to be heard and, you know, just listening to respond, you're not going to really resonate with people. And I like hearing people's stories. I really do. You know. So.
Well, and you're very right about having those skills as a host. A good host listens first before they speaks, right? Before they speak. And that was one of the things I was getting as a viewer watching out loud, because again, Fox Soul is a new platform, right? All the content's new. And it's for the culture. Let's keep it real. It's for the culture. Everything from the signage to the graphics is for Black people.
It is.
But watching out loud, and then the episodes that followed, what I loved was just the eclectic way you guys would have dating advice. You would talk openly about your vaginas. I mean, it was just so unfiltered.
We got a whole show on bad vagina. So
I know. And so it was just like, I'm here for this, but as I said, Claudia, it takes a special person to do that, and that is the future of where we're going, and I'm glad that you were there. Also, your story about being unemployed for 23 hours is amazing, because that's when you know that you are in your purpose. Not to get all Oprah Super Soul Sunday on you, but
I like that.
But that's you are where you're supposed to be. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and it's a really good look, and people are loving it. I've been watching a lot of the from home shows that you guys are doing now, and it's working. It looks good. But is that when conceptualizing that show, because they brought you in, you came back, I'm sure you have a say in how things are done and what you want to see on stage. What is the ultimate Claudia Jordan talk show? Like what is the next level for you?
I like it to be a show where everybody feels like they can watch it. Like, I think a lot of talk shows are kind of geared towards mostly women, you know? And I feel like, well, there's a whole other half of the population that needs attention. Like, I think our men, especially Black men, like, there's a lot of issues that they should be able to watch and be able to get something from that.
Mental health.
What I mean? Like, go ahead, what were you saying?
No, you're right. Mental health is one.
Yeah, mental health.
That.
I mean, I want to talk about the things that, like, you know, we want to talk about, adults want to talk about. Like, I'm not going to do a show on how to take the best selfie. That's like, I don't want to do surface stuff. We can have fun, but there's so many things that we can be talking about. And even dark things we can talk about in an entertaining way where people are not just like, oh my God, this is so depressing. And I feel like the more we talk about things, the more we realize, yeah, that happened to me too. I can relate. Or that's why this person acts like this. I'm always about understanding why people do what they do. And there's always a reason. Even a girl that's a hoe. A girl that's a hoe is not a hoe because she just, hey, I want to be a hoe. Usually there's some sexual assault, sexual abuse, some daddy issues, some abandonment issues. There's things like that. Men that are assholes. They didn't just wake up being assholes. They probably had a poor relationship with their mom, or they were probably talked to in a very negative way, or told they couldn't cry or show emotion. Like, get to the bottom, the basics, so we can start understanding each other better and have better relationships. I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Talk about things that I'm not afraid to talk about anything. You know what I mean? And I feel like we gotta just like take the layer of cool off sometimes and be like, I'm like you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just feel like, a place where people can like fearlessly talk about things and not feel judged.
It's a safe space, and right now Out Loud is doing that, is bringing just that, a safe space. And you know, in the comments below, there's men that are commenting saying, yeah, we would love a show that's also geared towards men as well, because a lot, as you said, a lot of shows are geared towards women, and sometimes the topics that they talk about are, like you said, take the best selfies, how to look good in this, which there's a space for that content, absolutely. But I think the viewer is more savvy than ever, and also viewers in marginalized groups of people, like that's why The Real is killing it, because they're able to tap into that very left, I wouldn't say left out, but kind of in the periphery market of people of color that have lots of money to spend. Our dollar is just as good as our counterparts' dollar, but yet sometimes these networks don't see that. The business side of it, though, because you have your morals, you have your foundation, you do what you do because it feels good. shows like Love and Hip Hop. You just did a Miami reunion, right? People look at
Yeah.
shows like Love and Hip Hop and say that's tearing women down. Mona Scott Young is not really for
Mm-hmm.
highlighting Black women in a positive light. But you did the reunion, that
Yeah.
experience, because I couldn't handle getting them in line. I'm sorry, it's just too much. It seems like for you, what was that like?
So I knew going in that there'd be that criticism, and I trust me, I had people in my circle that said I don't think you should do it, and I thought, you know what, I feel like I could be the one to kind of try to change things a little bit in a different direction. And yes, it was ratchetness, there was loudness, but there was also reasons behind it, and we had a couple of moments where we actually resolved some issues. I know the host is supposed to stir shit up and get people to fight and get rowdy, or to get them to like have these moments to go viral. But I was really proud of a few of the moments that we did have. We got to we buried the hatchet on a couple of things. Now, I'm not a miracle worker. I cannot part the Red Sea, and I can't do, I can't do so much. But I feel like we made a little bit of progress, and I didn't feel like it was ratchet. I wasn't. I felt like these Black girls that are on this show that are so quickly be written off, like, and just they're that, and let's just throw them away. Like I said, there's a reason behind everybody's action, and they deserve to be heard regardless of where you think they are on the status totem pole of society, right? Because we keep discounting them and ignoring them. That doesn't make them go away. It makes things get worse, And if one girl watching that show said, there's a different way of handling my disagreements than coming to blows, then I'm happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like on the next one, and I have been contracted to host all of them. So the next one.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And that's another thing that felt, I was like, oh, they want me. I thought it was a joke. I didn't even think it was serious. They said they want me to do Love and Hip Hop Miami. Then it was like, you know what? No, not just one, all of them. I was like, what?
Love that.
Okay. So I feel like the first one was getting my feet wet. And the second one, like, they're more of an established cast. The New York one is definitely a master. But I'm looking forward to kind of like, yeah, we can have fun and talk our shit, but then let's resolve a couple of things here. Because everything for I think reality TV, if we could just like get a little bit more responsible, where it's like, it doesn't always end with like, fuck yeah. It ends with, fuck you then. You know what? Never thought of it like that. I may not agree with you, but I respect our differences and we can move on. I'll be so happy.
Well, and you know what, Claudia, those are some of the best moments in those reunions, honestly, is when people have a come to Jesus moment or they bury the hatchet, because you watch a whole season, and as the show has gone on from season 1 with Chrissy and Olivia, it's a completely different show.
Yeah.
It's been on this, it's not the same Love and Hip Hop. And so you watch all season, you think these people cannot always be that mad all the time, right? So when you come to the reunion, you're actually wanting people to reunite, to squash some beef and to hash it out and keep it pushing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, and also every host is not the same. You're not going to be the previous host. You're going to have the way you do things. And it's just getting used to having you there to steer the ship. I watched, to be honest, I thought it was great. And it's just, congratulations on that opportunity, because it's a huge franchise. It's a huge franchise. It's not going anywhere. And it does take a certain type of person to even sit in that chair. And that's not me kissing your ass. That's just me keeping it real from watching so many reunions. And me being a host, no, I would.
It was hard. It was hard, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, I felt like after I needed a hug, you know what I mean? My guy, he came down with me, and I was like, hug me, and I was like, because I feel for people. Like, I feel people that are like, damn. Like when Cello found out that her man was sleeping with another cast member, that had to hurt, and I don't want to laugh at something like that. Right. I could relate. Like, every woman can relate to the feeling of being cheated on. That's a real emotion. That's not exclusive to the cast of Love and Hip Hop. Then you had Hood Brat, who had the responsibility of raising kids, of her sisters, like, and then you had Suki and her story, and like just trying to make it. Like, she got kids and she's like, I gotta I gotta do this for them. There is no plan B. Those are stories that everyone can relate to.
Right.
Take the judgment away from how they may speak and behave. But some of them do act way wild out, but like, you got to look at like there's factors that go into that. People were raised differently. People will have different experiences, and I just feel like they still matter. You know what I mean? Like, if you come in a way of I want to exploit them, that's negative. But if you're like, I want to understand them, I don't think that's negative. I think that's okay, and that's how I'm okay with doing it. you know.
Well, that's reframing. That's again approaching it differently, and the audience just has to get used to that. Also, maybe people don't like when you shine a light on how they truly are. People don't like to see the dark sides of themselves. So when they're used to seeing negativity and all of a sudden there's some positivity there, it's like, this is affecting me and it's making me feel some type of way. Let me figure it out. But as time goes on, they're gonna love this new way of approaching those reunions because it's time for that change. Yeah, good job, congratulations.
And I saw people
Good
saying,
luck.
"Oh, she didn't have control over the audience." I'm like, no, I saw complaints about people feeling like they weren't allowed to fully get things off their chest. And who am I to come in first day doing this and telling people to be quiet and shut up? Get it all off your chest now, so we can get all your mess on the table, get my mess on the table. Let's hash it out, and then we squash it. You're never gonna squash something if someone feels like I never was allowed to get my whole
Right.
story. So I just thought that was important to like let people have their moment. They're waiting all season to get it all off their chest. So go ahead and do it. So in
Yeah.
the past, the ones that I talked to, they appreciated it. So
And that's all that matters. People in the comments are like, Claudia Jordan for president 2020.
yes. If Donald Trump can be president, I mean, I know way more vocabulary words than him. I know more words than very, very well, very, very big, very, very good, tremendous.
Bigly.
Bigly. Jesus Christ. I used to be
Well, I
friends
mean,
with him.
I know you know the Donald firsthand for 2 seasons of Celebrity Apprentice.
He used to call me on the phone. We used to be friends. He used to check on me and like, I'm gonna make you a big, big star. I'm like, okay, all right, but we had conversations about things, and the person I see now is like, I don't know who this person is because I could never have friends with someone like this. But the ego, I understood back then how he could easily be manipulated because of his ego. Like if you stroke his ego or tell him that he's great, or yeah, you did make me, he'll do anything for you.
Right. Well, you did a show on narcissistic personalities, right? So I mean, safe to say he may exhibit a little of those qualities.
Oh, he's for sure a narcissist. Narcissists are never wrong. They get angry when you hold them accountable. They're always the victim. It's always you did something to them, and they thrive on praise. So, comedian Shang is in the comments. He said, but shows don't address how men, especially black men, have no outlet for those to speak on and how we really feel. That's so true. So we're gonna make that happen, Shang. Shang, I'm gonna get you on one of my shows.
Boom. Claudia Jordan connecting people on Jason Unleashed. I love it. Let's stop talking about the business. Let's talk about you and how so I was on your Instagram. Claudia, I was stalking you.
Good, thank you.
Point blank period. You're not a good dancer.
No, at all. At all.
But what I did learn about you is that you do not care. You just let it all hang out. So how does Claudia Jordan relax? Let's talk about how you relax pre-COVID and how you're relaxing post-COVID.
I spend a lot of time watching the news, unfortunately, and I probably gotta stop because it's a little. I'm always watching MSNBC, CNN, and documentaries. I watch My 600-Pound Life. I watch Lockdown, prison documentaries. I just love a good prison documentary. It's always about wanting to know why people do what they do. You know what I mean? I'm on Instagram a lot. I play Words with Friends. I have like 30 games going right. Whatever the limit is how many I have going. I play Tetris. I like to cook. I like to eat. I like to go bowling. I like to go running. And I don't really do that much. I mean, I'm 47 now, so I'm getting tired.
You're a total Aries. My mom's an Aries. You're a total Aries. I love it. Claudia, you are fantastic. I'm so grateful for you chatting with me on my show today. Thank you so much. Where can people find you online?
Just at Claudia Jordan, and that's on Twitter, Instagram, and I don't have anybody managing me. It's all me doing it. Just keep up with me. I always want to do stuff for the people. So if you have any suggestions for shows, I read all my messages, and I like to do what y'all need. You know what I mean? So what makes y'all happy? And thank you. And, don't always believe rumors, because a lot of times they come from a place someone's just trying to destroy someone's life, which has happened to me many times. And try to get to know people for who they are. Sometimes a 5-minute conversation with somebody will dispel all the negative things I've heard about them. I'm just saying.
True words. Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show to talk about some of the things because I was reading, I was like, that is, And as a journalist,
a lot of my rumors came from, I had a really bad breakup about 10 years ago. And then all of a sudden I had no reputation. Then all of a sudden I was like a homewrecker, all these things. I'm like, wait, what? And I didn't pay it any mind. And then when I got on Housewives, it got brought back up because of, they start Googling you. And I was like, all of a sudden this stuff was put on me that was never true. And I had to live with that and really defend myself. And every time I would meet a new man, I would have to, it's not true, and explain. And it was a really bad thing. Like, that's why I talk about rumors a lot. I think so irresponsible and so mean. But there's no people will, they'll do what they gotta do to like discredit you and try to dull your shine. But it ain't gonna work with me. So.
No, Claudia, where and when can they watch Out Loud with Claudia Jordan on Fox Soul?
I'll be on today, 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East. Check me out. I'm on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm Wednesdays off, and then Keisha Cole does her show Wednesday in the same time slot. So make sure you support all the Fox Soul personalities: Mike and Donnie, Tammy Mack, Keisha Cole, myself, and Dr. Sean. So we have a cool little crew.
Love it. Claudia, you have been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming by, and I hope to talk to you again. We're going to be cheering you on Fox Soul, and you keep doing the good work, boo.
And you're really good. You're a really good host. Keep it up.
Thank you.
You are very good.
Thank you so much. You be well. Happy belated birthday, and we'll see you